If you think modern football is violent, this 1982 World Cup incident will shock you. Harold Schumacher deliberately attacked Patrick Battiston at full speed, leaving him in a coma with missing teeth and fighting for his life. FIFA's punishment? Absolutely nothing. While players today get banned for months over bad tackles, the most violent assault in football history got zero consequences. This isn't just another compilation of bad calls. This isn't just another collection of controversial moments. This is the story of how referees have created football's most shocking scandals. From goals so obvious that missing them sparked global outrage, to violence so brutal that ignoring it defied human decency. These aren't simple mistakes. These are moments that shattered dreams, ended careers, and forced FIFA to rewrite the rules of football.
Fez o sinal, completou a revisão e cartão vermelho, está expulso e ainda vai tentar a bola decisiva.
What you're about to witness are the most shocking referee mistakes in football history. Not just what happened, but the chaos that followed, the lives that were changed, and the technology that was born from these moments of madness. Every incident has been verified through official match records, video analysis, and testimonies from the players, coaches, and officials who lived through these controversial moments. We'll explore the goal that sparked a technological revolution, the assault that went unpunished, and the referee who became a criminal. But first, let me show you how one moment of blindness created the biggest controversy in World Cup history. But what if I told you that one referee's mistake was so obvious, so undeniable, that it forced FIFA to embrace technology they had resisted for decades?
Ronaldo Sanchez needs to calm down. Ronaldo Sanchez sent off, and quite frankly...
June 27, 2010, World Cup round of 16, England versus Germany in Bloemfontein. England were trailing 2-1, had desperately needed an equaliser. The pressure was mounting, their World Cup dreams were slipping away. Then Frank Lampard stepped up. From 25 yards out, Lampard unleashed a thunderous strike. The ball rocketed toward goal. It struck the crossbar with tremendous force, bounced down behind the line, and came back into play. Every person in the stadium could see it. Every camera angle confirmed it. The ball had crossed the line by at least a yard. It was the most obvious goal in World Cup history. But Uruguayan referee Jorge Larionda waved play on. No goal, no consultation, no second thought. The English players were stunned. They pointed frantically at the goal line. They surrounded the officials. They couldn't believe what they were witnessing. Even German goalkeeper Manuel Neuer later admitted, "I knew it was a goal. I tried not to react so the referee wouldn't notice." The psychological impact was devastating. England's momentum was shattered. Their belief was broken. Germany scored 2 more goals. The final score 4-1. But the real impact came after the match. The media explosion was unprecedented. Headlines screamed robbery across every continent. Politicians demanded answers. FIFA's credibility was in freefall. This single moment of referee blindness forced FIFA to finally embrace goal line technology, proving that sometimes the most obvious mistakes create the most revolutionary changes. But perhaps the most shocking referee mistake in history wasn't about a goal. It was about violence that should have ended a career but went completely unpunished. July 8, 1982, World Cup semi-final, France versus West Germany in Seville. The match was finely balanced. Both teams were desperate to reach the final. The tension was suffocating. Then came a moment that would haunt football forever. Patrick Battiston broke through the German defense. He was clean through on goal, only the goalkeeper to beat. Victory was within reach, but Harold Schumacher had other plans. The German goalkeeper charged out of his area, not to make a save, but to make a statement. He launched himself at Battiston with sickening force. The collision was brutal. Schumacher's hip connected with Battiston's face. The Frenchman was knocked unconscious instantly. He lay motionless on the pitch. The medical team rushed on. Battiston wasn't breathing properly. He had lost 2 teeth, fractured 3 ribs, damaged his spine. He slipped into a coma. The referee's decision was incomprehensible. Dutch official Charles Korver saw nothing wrong. No foul called, no card shown, just a goal kick to Germany. Schumacher's reaction was even more shocking. He showed no concern for the injured player, no remorse for his actions. He casually walked back to his goal, as if nothing had happened. The French players were incensed. They surrounded the referee. They demanded justice, but Korver refused to change his decision. West Germany went on to win the match on penalties. They reached the World Cup final. Schumacher became a national hero, while Battiston fought for his life in hospital. This incident proved that referee mistakes aren't just about goals and cards. Sometimes they're about basic human decency and the protection of players from criminal violence. But some referee mistakes are so bizarre they seem to defy the basic laws of mathematics, like the time a player received 3 yellow cards in the same match. June 22, 2006, World Cup Group Stage. Croatia versus Australia in Stuttgart. English referee Graham Poll was officiating one of the biggest matches of his career. The pressure was immense. Both teams needed a result. The stakes couldn't be higher. In the 61st minute, Croatian defender Josip Šimunić committed a hard foul. Poll reached for his pocket. Yellow card. Standard procedure. The match continued. Tensions rose. The tackles got harder. The pressure mounted. In the 90th minute, Šimunić fouled again. Poll showed him a second yellow card. By the laws of football, this should have meant an automatic red card. 2 yellows equal 1 red. Basic mathematics. But Poll forgot. Šimunić stayed on the pitch. The Croatian defender couldn't believe his luck. His teammates said nothing. The Australian players didn't notice. Even the commentators missed it. Minutes later, Šimunić complained about a decision. Poll had had enough of his protests. He reached for his cards again and showed Šimunić a 3rd yellow card. Only then did he realize his mistake. The embarrassment was complete. Poll finally showed the red card, but the damage was done. He had made the most basic error in refereeing. The aftermath was swift and brutal. FIFA was mortified. Poll never officiated another World Cup match. His career was effectively over. This mistake proved that even the most fundamental rules of football can be forgotten under pressure, with consequences that destroy careers and create lasting embarrassment. But what happens when referee mistakes stop looking like accidents and start resembling a deliberate pattern? July 22, 2002, World Cup quarter-final, Spain versus South Korea in Gwangju. Spain arrived as one of the tournament favourites. They had a team full of world-class players. Raúl, Morientes, Elguera. They were expected to cruise past the hosts. But from the first whistle, something felt wrong. Every Spanish attack was met with suspicious decisions. Every goal was scrutinized for imaginary infractions. The pattern was impossible to ignore. In the first half, Ivan Elguera scored with a perfect header. The goal was legitimate. No offside, no foul, no controversy. But the linesman raised his flag anyway. The replay showed no infringement. Elguera was clearly onside. The decision was inexplicable, but Egyptian referee Gamal Al-Gandour upheld it. Later in the match, Fernando Morientes found the net. Again, the goal looked perfectly legal. The ball hadn't gone out of play, the cross was legitimate, but again, the referee disallowed it. Despite dominating possession, despite creating chance after chance, despite outplaying their opponents, Spain couldn't get past the refereeing wall. The match went to extra time, then penalties. South Korea won the shootout. The hosts had reached the semi-finals. After the match, Spanish players were furious. They accused FIFA of rigging the tournament. They claimed the referee had been biased. They demanded an investigation. The aftermath was telling. Al-Gandour never officiated another international match. FIFA quietly removed him from their list. No explanation was given. No investigation was announced. This incident raised the darkest question in football. When do mistakes stop being mistakes and become something far more sinister? But perhaps the most famous referee mistake in history was also the most celebrated, proving that sometimes context matters more than correctness. June 22, 1986, World Cup quarter-final, Argentina vs England in Mexico City. The political backdrop was impossible to ignore. The Falklands War had just ended 4 years earlier. Argentina and England were still bitter enemies. This wasn't just a football match, it was a battle for national pride. In the 51st minute, Diego Maradona made his move. He rose to challenge English goalkeeper Peter Shilton, but instead of using his head, he used his hand. He punched the ball into the net. The handball was obvious to everyone in the stadium, except Tunisian referee Ali bin Nasser and his Bangladeshi linesman Bernie Oloa Moreira. Maradona's reaction was masterful. He sprinted away celebrating. He urged his teammates to join him. He created chaos and confusion. He distracted the officials from their mistake. The English players protested furiously. They surrounded the referee. They pointed to their heads. They mined the handball, but bin Nasser refused to change his decision. Later, Maradona would call it La Mano de Dios, the hand of God. He claimed divine intervention. It was partly the hand of Maradona and partly the hand of God. The referee's explanation was simple. I didn't see the handball clearly. I was not in the best position. The linesman should have helped me. Argentina won the match 2-1. They went on to win the World Cup. Maradona became a legend. The referee became a footnote. This mistake proved that referee errors don't just change matches, they become part of football mythology, celebrated by some and mourned by others for generations. But imagine scoring the winning goal only to have it disallowed because the referee decided time was up before the ball crossed the line. June 14, 1978, World Cup group stage, Brazil vs Sweden in Mar del Plata. Brazil needed a victory to guarantee their place in the next round. The match was tied 1-1. Time was running out. Their World Cup hopes hung in the balance. In the dying seconds, Brazil won a corner kick. Their last chance for victory. Nalinho prepared to take it. The crowd held its breath. Nalinho delivered a perfect cross into the penalty area. Zico rose above the Swedish defense. He connected with the ball perfectly. The header was flying toward goal. But at the exact moment Zico made contact, Welsh referee Clive Thomas blew his whistle. Full time. The goal was disallowed. Brazil's victory was stolen.
The ball was in the back of the net, but as soon as that ball was kicked, the whistle went, and it doesn't. But the whistle went.
The Brazilian players were apoplectic. They surrounded Thomas. They couldn't believe what had happened. The ball was already in play when he ended the match. Thomas's explanation was technical but unsatisfying. The 90 minutes were completed. I had the authority to end the match. The ball hadn't crossed the line when I blew the whistle. The reaction in Brazil was explosive. Newspapers called it the robbery of the century. Fans burned effigies of the referee. The Brazilian FA lodged an official complaint with FIFA. Despite the controversy, Brazil still advanced, but the injustice lingered. Thomas never refereed another major tournament. His career was effectively ended by one premature whistle. This incident proved that in football, timing is everything, and referees have the power to steal victory with a single blow of their whistle. But no referee in football history has ever fallen as far as Byron Moreno, the man who went from World Cup official to convicted drug smuggler. June 18, 2002, World Cup round of 16, Italy vs South Korea in Daejeon. Italy arrived as one of the tournament favourites. They had won the European Championship 2 years earlier. Their squad was packed with world-class talent. They expected to reach the semi-finals easily. But from the opening whistle, Ecuadorian referee Byron Moreno seemed determined to make the match about himself. His decisions were bizarre, his interpretations were questionable, his bias was obvious. Early in the match, Damiano Tommasi scored for Italy. The goal was perfectly legitimate. No offside, no foul, no controversy, but Moreno disallowed it for an imaginary infringement. In the second half, Francesco Totti was clearly fouled in the penalty area. The contact was obvious, it was a clear penalty, but Moreno had other ideas. He bucked Totti for diving and sent him off with a second yellow card. The Italian players were incredulous. They surrounded the referee. They couldn't believe what they were witnessing. Their star player had been dismissed for being fouled. Later, in extra time, Tomasi scored again. This time the ball clearly crossed the line. The Italians celebrated. Victory was theirs. But Moreno disallowed it once more, without explanation, without reason. Meanwhile, South Korean players were committing brutal fouls, elbows to faces, kicks to ankles, dangerous challenges. Moreno ignored them all. South Korea won in the golden goal period. Italy was eliminated. The officiating was so scandalous that Italian media called it daylight robbery. FIFA suspended Moreno immediately after the tournament. His international career was over, but the story didn't end there. 8 years later, in 2010, Moreno was arrested at JFK Airport in New York. He was attempting to smuggle 6 kilograms of heroin hidden in his underwear. The news made headlines worldwide. Gianluigi Buffon, who played in that infamous match, had the perfect response. I think Moreno already had those 6 kilograms in 2002, but inside him. But sometimes referee mistakes create goals that may never have existed, phantom victories that haunt football history. April 27, 2005. Champions League semi-final first leg, Liverpool vs Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The stakes were enormous. Both teams were desperate to reach the final. The tension was suffocating. Every decision mattered. In the 4th minute, Liverpool won a free kick. John Alneriza delivered the ball into the penalty area. Luis Garcia connected with a shot. The ball flew toward goal. Chelsea defender William Gallas was perfectly positioned. He cleared the ball away from danger. Or did he? The ball had come very close to the goal line. Referee Lubos Michel pointed to the centre circle. Goal to Liverpool. The Anfield players celebrated. Chelsea protested furiously.
Luis Garcia and Liverpool celebrate. The goal's been given.
The replays were inconclusive. Some angles suggested the ball had crossed, others showed it hadn't. Nobody could be certain. Jose Mourinho was incandescent. He claimed the goal came from the moon. He said even Garcia didn't know if the ball had gone in. The controversy dominated the headlines. Without goal line technology, the decision stood. Liverpool held on to win 1-0. They advanced to the final, where they would complete their miracle comeback against AC Milan. Years later, computer analysis suggested the ball never fully crossed the line. But it was too late. History had been written. Liverpool's European Cup triumph was built on a phantom goal. This incident proved that sometimes referee mistakes create legends, even when the goals never actually happened. But the most famous phantom goal in football history decided a World Cup final and created a controversy that still rages today. July 30th, 1966, World Cup final, England vs West Germany at Wembley Stadium. The match was tied 2-2 after 90 minutes. Extra time beckoned. The pressure was unbearable. The whole nation was watching. In the 101st minute, Geoff Hurst struck a powerful shot. The ball hit the underside of the crossbar. It bounced down toward the goal line and spun back into play. Swiss referee Gottfried Dienst was unsure. He consulted his linesman, Azerbaijani official Tofik Baramov. The decision would change history. Baramov nodded. Dienst pointed to the centre circle. Goal to England. Wembley erupted. The German players protested furiously. They surrounded the officials. They knew the ball hadn't crossed the line, but the decision stood. England scored again in the final minute. Hurst completed his hat-trick. The final score 4-2. England were world champions. But the controversy never died. Decades of analysis followed, computer simulations, scientific studies, frame-by-frame examination. The conclusion was unanimous. The ball never crossed the line. England's World Cup triumph was built on a referee's mistake, the most famous goal that never was. This incident proved that some referee mistakes become so embedded in history that they transcend sport and become part of national identity. So there they stand, the most shocking referee mistakes in football history. From goals that crossed the line by yards but weren't given, to violent assaults that went unpunished, these moments prove that referees have the power to change history with a single decision. Some mistakes sparked technological revolutions, others ended careers and destroyed dreams, a few even led to criminal conviction.
Not a hat-trick, looking for his third, Real Madrid's goal!
FIFA has never liked Cristiano Ronaldo, and what they did to silence the greatest goalscorer in history will shock you. If these shocking referee mistakes amazed you, make sure to subscribe for more football history and controversial moments, and let me know in the comments, which referee mistake shocked you the most, and do you think technology has solved these problems? Your thoughts help create future content about football's most controversial moments.